Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Addington News. Yes, we're back, Darren Williams, in 2023. We've got a big Garrard's Premier Mares Championship this week, and well, basically we race every week from now until ever.
Yep, so we're back into it. Kick off with a $50,000 Group 2 race for the mares, and that will lead into the Fahey Fence Hire Breeders Stakes, the Group 1 race. So really good, really solid field and a good way to start the night. Yeah,
look, there is a lot of depth to it too, and I suppose there was a little bit of trepidation about that with the numbers perhaps that were up in Auckland over the December period. But yeah, there's a lot of depth to that. Back on track, therefore, has been kicking in too, and the numbers are strong there.
Yeah, really good this week. So there's still some tickets available for that next week. So $45 a ticket. Includes all your meal and your seat and everything else. Just pay for your drinks on top of that. Book online at addington.co.nz, and all of the trackside dining dates for the rest of the season through to middle of May or so. I think even deeper than that, Greg, are all up there now, so you can buy tickets for those, and that gives you the option of either a package including drinks or without. And they're really popular.
Yep. Look, one of the great, I suppose, promotions and innovations over the last 18 months or so has been the horse ambulance, and Addington are getting right behind that with a team in the coast to coast, would you believe, headed up by Brian Thompson, who's been out doing a lot of training, doing a lot of work, and in fact, Oi! Come back here. Here he is. He's in the middle of a run right now, Darren. So we've got...
We just tried to film something. And he charges through the middle of it.
What's going on, champ? Jump on the X marks the spot, because it's about the only time recently you would have been standing still, and in the next couple of weeks you're going to be making that body work a wee bit.
Yeah, we've just been doing a few training runs over the holidays, and old Andy's been doing a bit of kayaking, and JD's putting on the lycra for the bike. I think JD's got about 120 k's to do, and Andy's 60, and I've got the 32k bushwalk.
Yeah, the bushwalk, yeah. I know it well. So Andy Rossi's in charge of IT, does a massive job here at Addington, and John Denton, of course, well known in the harness circles, and obviously prepares the track here and is the #1 track guy throughout the country. So where did this come from? Where did the inspiration behind trying to get from one coast to the other and raise some money for the Horse Ambulance Trust?
I think Andy did the one day last year, and we were just sitting around the staff room having a bit of a coffee, and we just laughed and said, hey, it'd be good to enter a team next year. 12 months later, here we are.
And how's the fundraising going? Because it is such an important thing for racing across New Zealand, and we see the ambulances in each area, so they need to be funded.
Yeah. Look, what the industry's good at is getting out there and supporting people and looking after people, and putting some money towards a good cause, and what better good cause than the New Zealand Horse Ambulance Trust. I think it went live yesterday, and we're already up to nearly $1,300. So
yeah.
It's a great start, so as long as everyone can go to givealittle.co.nz and search up horse ambulance and go into the coast to coast, and it'll come up.
All right.
And pledge what you can.
Well, the box seat, there you go. I've just come up with a couple of $100, so we'll chuck that on for you today, mate. We're back on the 8th of February. Now, you do form all the time. You're around the horse industry. How's he looking in terms of his fitness, and are we expecting a record run pace from him?
Mate, he's come back from Christmas better than me. Have a look at this. It would kill me. So, like, good on these guys for having a go. JD's been on the bike. Andy's the fit one, and BT's pretty fit anyway, so they'll do a good job.
You've done it, mate. What was your time?
I think I did the mountain run and the last bike, so I think I went about 450 or 455 for the mountain run, so I think it was a bit longer back then. Did you say 32 k's? I thought it was a full marathon.
That's in April.
I tell you what, it is a great experience. It really is, and you do find yourself in the middle of the bush thinking, what the hell am I doing here? But it's a huge thing to be part of, and great satisfaction when you get to the end of it. So
we'll get a Stride Master tracker on them all.
Oh, we do. Yeah. We've got a tracker, so everyone can track it.
Beautiful,
watch it, I think, can't you?
Watch it across the 2 days.
Yeah.
So February 10th and 11th.
Yeah, beautiful, mate.
Anyway, I'll get back out there.
Get back out there. Good on you. There he is, the CEO of Addington Raceway, getting involved in that wonderful. You know, it's a great cause, mate, and it's been used to good effect already so far. And you know, I know the industry participants really appreciate the New Zealand Horse Ambulance Trust.
Look, it's a terrific effort by the guys, and to pull the money.
And good on Brian, you know, the CEO, you know, leading the boys' way.
First guest on the show, mate, and he runs right through
shot. Yeah, for 2023. We're going to do a full meeting preview, Darren. I do like a couple, and one of them comes up in the Garrard's Premier Mares. Her name is Manhattan. She got beaten in the big race, the Queen of Hearts, up there at Alexandra Park, but she won the prelude. She's very, very good when she's in front. She'll take a lot of beating, and Bob Butt's team for the last 12 months been on fire. And if you've watched the preview before, you'll know how big a fan of Sunny Louis, I am. I know he got beaten last time at Ashburton, but he went a cracking race there. He's drawn inside second row. He might need a little bit of luck. So that's race 7, number 8, race 8, number 10. 2 good chances though, but we'll do the full meeting preview, and we're also going to have a look at a video at the back end of it of an outstanding mare, very fast mare in Bonnie Joan.
Look, absolutely. There's some new features amongst Addington News as well that will be popping up from time to time, including some specials and spectators that will come across the screen. And graphically, the team have done a really good job where we'll have the selections that you put up graphically on screen as well. So let's get into the full meeting preview.
Rightio, first meeting of 2023, Greg. Let's get into it. Race 1, we get underway at 5:22. IRT, Your Horse, Our Passion, Mobile Trot. IRT, of course, sponsors of the Great Race.
Yeah, they are, and superb sponsors of, well, racing right throughout New Zealand, but particularly here at Addington Raceway. Very grateful for their support. The mobile's the key here, I think, with this one. A hill too many has looked capable of it winning at least a maiden. I thought it had its chance last time, but Blair Orange, Ken Barron, lethal combination. And, of course, Blair took out the big Group 1 across the Tasman. It was a Group 2, was it? There on Saturday night. So he's driving in great form, and I think it's the one to beat. I don't mind the mare with Tom Baggery, Sue's Dash. I think it's got a handy barrier draw and not the deepest of maiden trotting fields, so I'd like to see how it goes first up, so I'm giving it a chance. Dancing Glennis, although off the unruly, last up 4th was solid at Ashburton in behind Pekin Monkey, so I expect it to go another good race even from that draw. And also drawn out wide is Matthew Eyre. Now, this horse can really trot when it gets its mind on the job. Tim Jellyman, he's a bit of a character in the game. I'd love to see him grab a win at Addington Raceway and Jared O'Reilly doing the steering. And like I say, when he does trot, he can certainly run a wee bit. So give him some sort of chance. But Hill Too Many looks the hardest to beat, number 6, in the first.
Race 2, first leg of the early quaddie at 5:47. The Hydroflow Mobile Pace, 2,600 metres.
Yeah, Tony Barron's got a smart one here. Sharp as Attack was backed off the maps, 14s into 4s first up, and got beaten by Bryce's Medal, who's clearly got ability. Would only need to improve marginally off that. Still a bit green, but no, I reckon it's a winner, and it's been to the trials since then, and I expect it to go very, very close in this. Commander Ben has been heavily backed multiple times. He's a 14-start maiden now. He won't get a better chance from the inside barrier draw. 2,600 metres can stay a wee bit, so give it a good chance. Dalton Shard has a good draw for Robert and Jenna Dunn. Barrier 3 should be in the fight throughout. And the other one I gave a chance was My Star Blue Jean. Again, the Blair Orange Ken Barron combination, always to be respected. But one of the best bets of the night, Sharp as Attack, in race number 2.
Race 3, the Phil and Glennis Kennard Bloodstock Mobile Pace, 1980 at 6:22.
Yeah, Mason Shard, the filly by Better's Delight out of Pemberton Shard. She really does have the ability to win multiple races. She won on debut, she had 4 runs back this time in, never had a whole lot of luck, and she comes up with the outside front row draw here, which is not going to make it easy, courtesy of the pref barrier draw, but she might just have the wood on these, Darren. So happy to have her on top of Double Time for Team Done. Got the business done at Richmond, second on the first day, just beaten, and then came out, and that was behind the smart Brando, and then came out and won. So I expect him to go on with that, because that's a deep, deep sort of form, I think. So Double Time right in the fight too. Chris Lynn from the inside barrier draw should be competitive throughout for Jeff and James Dunn and Jared O'Reilly. And Franco Stefan, another one I thought had a chance from the handy barrier draw. But yeah, Mason Shard, Double Time, be one of those two, I think, in that second leg of that early quaddie.
Race 4, the Air Park Canterbury Trot, a 2,000 metre stand at 6:52.
Just repeat. I'm just going on rinse and repeat here. Robert and Jenna Dunn and John Dunn with Spells of Love. Now, I spoke to John on SENZ Trots Tour about this trotter, and he said, gee, there was a time there I thought if you sneezed anywhere around the horse, it would gallop. And he said, I'm not too sure what we'll do on race day. Very good first day. Nelson then came out and won the second day and looked like a horse with immense ability, out of a very good breed, out of spell. Can see it just improving with racing. So it'll be hard to beat in this. Royden Muscle for Chris McDowell. Good enough to go around and against the best of its age group. So Chris obviously has a high opinion of him, and he was third at Monacarara last time. And a pretty solid one at that. Galleon's Ambassador for John Morrison. She's a mare with ability, so I give her a first 4 chance. And Unique Over Kansas, way better than the form would indicate. It wouldn't surprise me if Bob Butt got him into the money off the unruly. But I'll settle on Spells of Love. I think it has the potential to go as far as any in the field.
Race 5's the last leg of that early quaddie. Insurance Life Junior Drivers Mobile 2600 at 7:22. And Ross Fowler and his team, first-time sponsors here at Addington, and they got a team on course. They're going to have a good night, Greg.
Yeah, they will do, and nice to have them part of the sponsorship family here at Addington Raceway. Better Be Sharp will be hard to beat in this. Sarah and Jared O'Reilly combine. I've always had a bit of time for this horse. He won here 2 starts back. He went to the mod. He was a solid third behind Anna Love. And I think with Sarah on board and knowing the horse well, I think it's a big advantage in the junior drivers event. And I'm keen to be each way on it. It'll be nice each way too. It'll go forward, so will Ted's Legacy. So those two should be in the fight nice and early. You've got to have come together with Carter Dalgetty driving for Bob Butt. She's a mare capable of winning more races than just this one. And Classy Dancer, again, I'm looking junior drivers-wise, Sam Thornley. You know what I think of his talents in the bike. This one for Tony Barron, to the second row, follows out, come together, might be a nice wee spot to be. But I reckon Better Be Sharp and Ted's Legacy are going to land 1-2, and they'll be in this race for a long, long way, Darren.
Race number 6 is Thank You from Woodlands Stud Fillies and Mares Mobile 1980 at 7:57 in Addington Raceway. Definitely thank Woodlands Stud, who partnered with us this last season to sponsor Fillies and Mares races pretty much on every program that we run, Greg, and we've got a couple of them Friday night, of course, but Woodland's really getting behind the racing opportunities for fillies and mares.
Yeah, and it's an incredibly important time for them and the entire breeding industry, of course, coming up to New Zealand Bloodstock yearling sales. We wish them all the best on the 19th of February out of Karaka. They have huge numbers there and a lot of quality stock, and hence the reason why they're using their marketing and sponsorship money, getting in behind fillies and mares races. It all sort of marries up quite nicely. Jezebel should have won a race by now. Won't get a better opportunity than this. Outside draw, only 7 in it. Has an enormous early speed if Robert Anderson wants to use that, and therefore Jezebel, one to beat for sure. Field of Poppies is capable of winning a race. She's a filly by Vincent, trained by Brendan Hill. Ricky May doing the steering. Should be pretty hard to beat from that draw. Fergalicious has a good draw. Say that quickly. Fergalicious. Matthew Cross better watch that one. John and John Dunn doing the driving again for Robert and Jenna. So a decent each way chance. And Woodley Jewel. Tom Twiddle's just an incredible horseman, really. Whenever he lines one up, you just know it'll be ready. If it's in a standing start race in particular, you know it'll step, it'll be in the fight throughout, and therefore you have to give it a chance in this, and I definitely do. But yeah, Jezebel, it's going to win one of these, Darren. I think the 1980 short course will definitely suit better than some of those longer ones, and yeah, I think this is its go today.
Race 7's the feature of the night, the Group 2 Garrard's Premier Mares Championship, a mobile race over 1900 at 80 metres at 8:22. Greg, $50,000. It's drawn a really good field, and you think about the retirement of Stylish Memphis, True Fantasy, of course, and Darling Me. And we still have a really good field of mares that'll make their way, of course, to a Group 1 in a couple of weeks. So, look, this is going to be a really good race and full of talent.
Yeah, the barrier draw certainly plays its part, and All American Love is a Group 1 winner of her last start in the Queen of Hearts, and she's been to the trials since and finished second, so she's just had that tick-over trial. She'll be the one to beat, but I think she might be slightly vulnerable this week, given that she hasn't had a race since then, since the middle of December, and Manhattan's drawn to her inside. And you know the modus with Bob Butt. He knows this horse doesn't like to let one run past. Yes, one ran past it from 3 back on the fence in the ultimate race at Group 1 level. But I think if he goes forward, gets the lead here, and I don't see an enormous amount of early pressure, so he should be able to find it, reasonably early. And if he does, Manhattan is definitely the one to beat. From All American Lover, she's quality, no question about that at all, and she'll be the one to beat in a couple of weeks' time too. Life's a Beach is drawn awkwardly inside second row, but she's a really good horse, this. She's trained by Tony Barron. She gets any luck this week, she definitely can be in it. She's a massive chance in a fortnight's time. I'm sure of that, so you definitely want to have her. And Bob Butt's other runner, Kelly's Delight, Blair Orange, takes the drive. she's very competitive at this sort of level too. She comes out of those Alexandra Park runs, and she's got the handy barrier draw out of 7, so I'd give her a chance. But I really like Manhattan each way.
Race number 8, Phoebe Studd say happy birthday or happy 18th birthday to Gemma Beckett. It's a mobile trot 1980 at 8:52, Greg, and we see this a wee bit with birthdays. People sponsor a race and have a crew on course, have a bit of fun, and it's going to be a big night for Gemma, and we wish her all the best with her birthday.
Yeah, good luck to her, and great idea. And if you're thinking of doing something a little bit special, it doesn't have to be a milestone birthday. It's just something different. Give us a yell here at Addington. We'll see if we can't accommodate you in that regard. Anything from 2 to 4 to 400 people, if you want to have a real big bash, I'm sure we'll be able to look after that. And this race here is a good one. I'm going to go for Sonny Louis because I think he's the best horse in the race, and I think if he has any luck early, he can definitely win it. He's been racing really well. He took on his own age group in the derbies and the like, and I think he's just going to get stronger as a 4-year-old. And he's by Royal Aspirations, so there's a lock there or a relationship there with the Beckett. So I'm happy to go for it on top, and I think it's the one to beat. Martha Stewart will give you a sight. Carter Dalgetty driving for Jason and Ian Thomas. Loves the 1980 here at Addington Raceway. Record's really strong. Although she doesn't win out of turn, she's invariably in the money, and that has been the case in her last couple of runs here. So, yep, I'd definitely give her a good chance from a handy barrier draw. The present maker he has a mind of his own, Darren. If he races like he did at Nelson, he'd just about win this. But last time he came here at Addington Raceway, he wouldn't score up. So there's a risk there. Bob Butt's doing the driving, though. So if he can get him away, he's a big chance. And then you got the likes of Boss Kenny and even Paris Prince, who's first up, Blair Orange for Fred Fletcher, giving him a good, strong hand in the race. Trialled recently behind Oscar Bonavina and was pretty competitive in that. So, yeah, I'd give it some sort of chance too. But good race. I'll go for the best horse in it, I believe, or the most progressive, Sonny Louis.
9:25, race 9 gets underway. The Paul Renwick Joinery and Kitchen Mobile Pace 1980, and of course, Renwick Farms, sponsors of the Dominion Trot, of course, Greg, our great race during Cup Carnival.
Yeah, absolutely they are. And again, reiterating what I said about Woodlands before, it's a big time for them, 15 yearlings in the sale. So very, very important time for the Renwick Farms operation. And I suppose the Kitchen and Joinery Centre has funded the horses for such a long period of time. And I think, Darren, they have had the sign on the fence as you go past the 400-metre mark at Addington for the longest, maybe 35 or 36 years, right up there with Dakins anyway. So, yeah, they've been with Addington for a long time. And it's great to have Paul's name associated with this race here. I actually gone with Sporty Charlie. He was excellent winning here on show day. He's only had one run since then, but he's been to the trials, Darren, and he comes up with barrier 1. I reckon he's a horse that will eventually get to free-for-all company, and therefore I think I'm not saying he'll win this week, but he'll go a good race. So I'll have something each way on him, I reckon. So that's number 1. The best in the races have obviously drawn the widest out, 9, 8 and 7. Terry, Heisenberg, Cloudy Bay. Cloudy Bay's most likely to go forward. She has good speed. Tim Williams knows how to drive her best, and therefore he'll put her in the race at some stage. But I just thought for value, I'd go each way on Sporty Charlie. Even if you don't get the money this week, he's definitely the one to follow out of the race.
Yeah, good horse. Race 10 is the First Direct Taxis Mobile Pace 1980 at 9:55. Pretty much mostly our final sponsor on each race night. And if you've had a great night here, we encourage you obviously not to be drinking and driving and taking a First Direct Taxi home.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll try and take you home with a little bit more cash in your pocket because Tom Martin is the one to beat, even though he's drawn the widest. Again, you just see this with these pref barrier draws, and you know that the best horse in the race draws the outside, but he draws that for a reason. And he could slide across nice and early here with Rakanotta, who likes to go forward. So he might not be that far out of it early on. Emma's Boy can get out too, as can South Seas Rock. So there could be a lot of speed early, and he might even slot into the running line. But I think he'll be the one to beat. So I'll go for him on top. Over South Seas Rock, it was a solid third at Nelson on the second day. Does like to go forward. And it's been going really well since Jeff and James Dunn have had this one in the barn. Divine Angel, who was tipped out as one of the Christmas crackers by John Dunn, didn't win first up at Rangiora, but won second up at Nelson, paid $10. Well, you can't argue with that. And was Green doing it too. So I think she's got a pretty bright future, the daughter of Captain Treacherous. And Radioactive Jaffa for one of the nice guys of the game, Russell Kennedy. Doesn't line up too many, but he does do a very good job with a small team. And from the inside draw, it's a chance. But I'll go with Tom Martin on top. And just reiterating, Darren, 2 best bets for me. I really do think Manhattan is the best bet of the night on an each-way basis. Sonny Louis from that draw, and Sharp as Attacks, the other one, I think, should be winning too. But can't wait to get back to Addington. Spoke to a few horsemen over the last couple of weeks, and although there are times, Darren, where they'll say, oh, we're going to go to Addington once or twice a week, many of them have missed the joint because location-wise, it's perfect. It's easy to get to. If the weather's inclement, it's fantastic from the barn's point of view. So, they're looking forward to getting back here too, as I'm sure we all are.
Yeah, look, the forecast is pretty good. It's meant to be pretty warm on Friday. There is a chance for a couple of showers, but won't last for long if it does happen. We'll have all the barrels across the lawn for people to be enjoying themselves outside. And, of course, spectators will be open after the last race. Chunky's Corner will be open, the smoker, with a bar over there, and that's starting to prove really popular as well. So we're back into it for 2023. We're going to leave you with the 2018 version of the Premier Mares Classic, Greg. And Dexter Dunn was over on holiday over the Christmas period, and he got up to beat his brother on this occasion, John, on Bonnie Joan for the Crane Dalgety team at the time. Yes, Crane training him by himself at the time, but she was a good mare for Tuapeka Lodge, and of course an important time for them around the sales as well, Greg.
Yeah, it always is, and the late Father Dan was a massive part of the sale way back into the 70s. So she's very, very fast. This Bonnie Joan, and a family that he'd had great success with too, and it was one of the great additions of this Group 2 race that we get to see again this Friday.
Third quarter, 29 seconds. American Tart back to the inside. Bonnie Jones, she went to the lead. Some Joy tried to go with her. American Tart's coming quickly. It's Bonnie Joan. American Tart, she's putting up a fight. Bonnie Joan, American Tart, they come to it. Bonnie's home. Bonnie Joan won the Premier Mares. Beat home American Tart. Utmost Delight from nowhere ran third. Then either Better Be Amazed, Love to Dream, or She's a GMP.